Hey, it's time for another Everyday Getaway in the kitchen on a Tuesday.
There you go. For us, that's like a home vlog. So
That's right.
if you don't know us, we're Doug and Tammy. We do a lot of travel and adventure together, but sometimes we like to adventure into the kitchen and try something new. So home vlog and Tuesday dessert day, let's try to make something special.
Hey, and one of our sons wanted a Twix bar in their stocking this year. So it's one of their favorite candy bars. So we thought, hey, let's try to make some.
There you go. We picked up Twix at the store. They were on sale for $1.25 for the small one, normally $1.99. I think the king size is $2.49. So we want to check and see, how does a homemade one taste compared to the store brand or the real Twix? And we also want to check and see, is it cost effective to make them on our own? So
Hey, so join us in the kitchen and let's see what we can get into.
a great Twix has 3 layers. It's got that cookie layer on the bottom, the caramely layer in the middle, and then that yummy, delicious chocolate on the outside. So we're gonna work with our recipe in 3 parts today, beginning with that cookie layer. It's a shortbread, and so for the shortbread layer, we need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and we're gonna use some sea salt, and a cup of unsalted butter, which we're gonna melt. A cup is 2 sticks. So we're gonna get that melted and get started with that cookie butter layer, or that cookie layer on the bottom. In preparation, we have already set the oven to 350 degrees, and we've prepared a 13 by 9 inch pan. We have just put some parchment in the bottom of it, so hopefully when that cookie and everything has set, we can just lift it right up. And I do put a little bit of spray on the bottom just to help the parchment stick to the dish itself. All right, let's get baking.
Okay, I got my butter almost done, so I'm gonna add in to my mixing bowl here my flour. And I'm gonna put in my sugar. And I'm gonna add my salt in here. And I'm gonna start mixing that together, and then I'm gonna fold in my butter.
We're almost there.
Okay, so now I'm gonna start just slowly adding in my butter. Remember, this is 8 ounces of unsalted butter.
And we're just looking for a soft dough, which I think we've already accomplished. So we're just gonna stop this, make sure we scrape down the sides, and get ready to bake it off. Operation Twix cookie is almost complete. We have formed this into, says either a soft ball or just like something that can be crumbled easily. So we're gonna spread this out. It says press and crumble. So I'm gonna crumble first to kind of get it spread out over the bottom of the pan, and then we're just going to start pressing it down so that we cover the bottom of this 13 by 9 pan. This is going to go into the oven for 25 to 30 minutes till it's got a little golden brown, and if you check it, it seems like there's no doughiness to it. It's all baked through. Here we go.
Alexa, set a 25-minute timer.
25 minutes. Let's move on to that caramely layer in our Twix. And to make that caramel, we've got a 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream, a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 3/4 cup of brown sugar, a small can of sweetened condensed milk. I can't talk. That's 14 ounces. 1/2 cup of light corn syrup, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We're using sea salt again, and a 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, or 1 stick. All right, let's see what we can do.
Hey, wait a second. Could I just get some of those caramel chips?
Yes, you can. And I think they're called caramel bits. And we've looked at a couple different recipes. Boom. Somehow we purchased these planning on using this recipe and giving it a try. And then somehow we swapped off to another recipe. So we've got these, and we're going to try to make the caramel today. but I think you can use these and melt them down, and I think it just added a couple things to it. So yeah, we'll see. We're making it for today. Why? Because we've already got everything ready to go. All right, we're starting out with the butter again. Doug's gonna melt that, and we're gonna add all of those ingredients that we've got stacked there. And it looks like we have to stir for about 15 minutes until we get a consistency of melted peanut butter.
So the chips would have been easier.
I'm thinking the chips would have done a lot easier. Maybe next time.
Taste better.
Yeah, it will, I'm sure. All right, Doug, what's going into the tub?
So I've melted my butter, and now I'm going to put in my sweetened condensed milk.
Everything gets to go into the sauna, as Rachel Ray would say. And I don't know if you guys do this, but do you like sweetened condensed milk? Like, do you always try to sneak one little bite of or taste of the sweetened condensed milk when you are using it to cook with? I know it's probably bad, but I always like just get a little tiny dab. My mom would say don't do that, but I'm 60. It hasn't hurt me.
Okay, so now I've got my butter in here, my sweetened condensed milk, and I'm going to add my brown sugar. And I'm going to add my regular sugar in with that. Get that started mixing together. And now I'm going to take and put my heavy whipping cream in there.
We're switching tools here as we go.
And the next thing I'm going to add in is my
light corn syrup.
Light corn syrup, that's right.
There were lots of liquidy things on this one. All right, Doug's going to get a workout now because it says we have to stir for about 15 to 20 minutes.
And I'm going to add my salt.
Oh, we're eyeballing it again. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. All right, looks like we about got everything mixed up. Of course, we don't have a boil yet. The thickness, it said, is like the thickness of a melted peanut butter, or if you're using a candy thermometer, you can look for like 235, 240 degrees Fahrenheit. And once we get to that consistency or temperature, we are ready to kind of add it to our crust that we have in the oven. The oven has about 7 more minutes. Well, actually, the cookie has about 7 more minutes. So we're going to pull that out, let it cool a little bit before we add this. So I think by the time Doug finishes stirring for 15 minutes, hopefully that'll be cooled enough to add the caramel. We have been working on the caramel for about half the time, and we are at about 100 degrees. So we still have a ways to go. Maybe 125. We're about 12 minutes in. The temperature by the candy thermometer is at 150. So it said 15 to 20 minutes. We certainly have to go probably another 5 to get it up there, but it is thickening. So looks like we're getting there, slowly but surely. After 25 minutes, we've got a little golden brown edging on our cookie bottom. It's a shortbread, so we don't want it really dark. And I also tested it with the tester. It looks like it's cooked through. So we're gonna let this cool slightly while Doug keeps stirring. We're almost there. Well, maybe not almost, but it is getting thicker. All right, by the candy thermometer, we've reached over 175. We did turn the temperature up just a tad, so it looks like it's starting to boil. We can tell that it's getting thicker. It's starting to stick to the sides of the pan a little bit. Still have a little ways to go, I think, to get to the right consistency or temperature at 235, but I think we're moving a little bit more now. We haven't quite hit 235, but consistency-wise, I think we are definitely at a melted or heated peanut butter stage. It has cooked for probably 17 minutes total, and we're going to let it cool slightly, and then we'll pour it onto the cookie part.
Okay, so our cookie is cooled slightly, and then so we've let this sit and caramel sit a little bit. So now we're just going to pour it on and spread it out.
Now it does look like a beautiful caramel. It's not really a dark caramel, But looking at those caramel chips that we bought and didn't end up using, I think they would have the same coloring. And if you let the caramel go a little bit longer, I'm sure it would even get a little darker. And we have a little bit left in this pot. We might save that little bit for an ice cream topping because it looks like these are well coated. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
We'll just have a little bit in the fridge for when we want some caramel on our ice cream. That looks really pretty. This has to set for about an hour and a half. And we're going to let it set for that hour and a half outside of the fridge for now. It says just to let it set at room temperature. So we're going to do that for about an hour and a half. Then before we cut them, we might go into the freezer a little bit. But it does look very pretty, very shiny, and I think we're going to have ourselves a good caramel base there. We let the caramel set for about an hour and a half. And then we went ahead and put it in the fridge for about another hour to make sure that it was going to be easy enough for us to cut without having the caramel stretch. So the other thing that we've done is we've just got a pan lined with parchment. We're going to pop this caramel and cookie out. And I'm going to go ahead and try to just peel that off and put it on a cutting board for us. And then we're gonna cut it into Twix, little thin rectangles for Twixes. We have debated on the best way to cut this. We went ahead and sprayed the knife a little bit, hoping with just cooking spray to hope it maybe doesn't stick. And yeah, Twix is about 4 inches long, 1/2 inch wide, so we're just cutting down the center.
I think that cut pretty good.
That looks like it did pretty well. And then we're going to go back and make 1/2 inch. We're going to call them Twix fingers. These are the left and rights. What's your favorite part of a Twix, the left or the right? All right, we'll let the folks at home tell us their favorite, left or right, now that you're getting the habit of this Twix cutting. What's your favorite, the left or the right?
The right.
You like the right? Is it because of the caramel?
It's because I'm right-handed.
While Doug finishes up the last few Twixes, I'm going to start melting chocolate chips. We've got milk chocolate morsels. We're going to put a little bit coconut oil in it just for a little shine and smoothness. And I purchased a large bag of chocolate chips, and different recipes have used different amounts. So I've got about 20 ounces in. If we need more, I'll have a few more, but we'll start with this not to waste them. All right, we got 16 left Twix, 16 right Twix, for a total of 30 Twix. We are melting the chocolate chips in the microwave 30 seconds at a time and stirring along with coconut oil, and then we will start dunking the Twix. We have looked at several recipes, and most of them have them dunked in chocolate, but some of them have just the chocolate on the top. So we started with the dunking all around, but they're getting soft and they're breaking. So I think we're going to change our plan. And we are going to, for now, use the method where we just coat the top in chocolate. We might go back after they have set and do the sides, but these are looking a lot better, and it's much easier. So I think this might be the route. We are just painting on the top for now. We put a few back in the fridge just to make sure they harden up a bit, so when the warm chocolate hits them, it doesn't make them break. And then we might go with those folks who have decided that the chocolate on one side is best. We'll probably try it, letting them set a little bit and going back and doing the other sides. But this, I think, will be plenty of chocolate, and it makes them look really pretty. We will go back and put the design on the top though. A lot of folks really enjoy homemade candy bars better than store-bought ones. We have gone back and after doing the top, we have let them set in the fridge and gone back on a few and coated all the sides. Some of them, we are just leaving the chocolate. In all honesty, Doug doesn't really enjoy chocolate as much as I do. This is enough chocolate for me. So I think we are probably, in our house, gonna leave more of them with just the chocolate on the top. But I did put some chocolate into a piping bag. I have a small tip. And we're just gonna go back and add a little pretty drizzle on the top. You can certainly choose when you are working on them to coat all the sides in the chocolate if you wish, or you can stop. Like we said, we saw recipes that this was just how they were made. Some of the recipes went back and had everything coated, but I think they look pretty. And I actually really like these that are only coated on the top. I think it's fun to be able to see all the layers. So we're gonna finish this portion up and then we're gonna give them a taste.
Okay, so that was not too bad. Took a little bit of time, but it wasn't bad at all.
No, it was kind of fun. And if you've watched along with us the whole way, you know that some we coated completely and some we coated just the top. Personally, I think the look of the ones with the coating just on the top, I think they're very pretty because you see that layer of cookie, you see the layer of caramel, and you see the chocolate. However, since we are taste testing it against the original Twix, we're going to use one that is fully coated.
This is the original here.
Yeah. This one looks more fancy, but let's give them a try and see how they taste. You want to refresh your memory on a regular Twix first?
Yeah, let's give this a try. Now, I will say starting out, ours has a little bit more caramel in it. But when you make your own, you could decide how much caramel to put in it.
And ours haven't set all the way. I think the chocolate could set a little bit more, but this is the real Twix. It's got a little bit of a Twix or a caramel pull. But if you look at the inside of ours, we have a good cookie layer and a good caramel layer compared to it.
So let's start with the original.
Okay. Definitely a Twix. That cookie crunch, which I love, got the caramel, chocolate. I mean, you know a Twix when you try a Twix. All right, so that's kind of our baseline. Let's see what we think.
Okay, so this is ours. I do like it that it has more caramel.
I do.
It's got the same Twix flavor.
Nice cookie crunch with that shortbread. It's got the chocolate on it. I'm not sure we need the chocolate all the way around it because it's probably a little bit thicker than the chocolate on a Twix, which is covered.
But I think the taste is really comparable.
Right, and we got 34 out of our recipe. We will include the full recipe in the comments.
And the cost was pretty, well, we had almost all this stuff at home already, but the cost would be pretty comparable to buying a couple of them, I would think.
Right. We did purchase the chocolate chips. That was one of the things that we had to get, and we had to get sweetened condensed milk. But otherwise, we had all the things. We are going to try freezing some of these because we certainly will not eat 34 of these candy bars at one time. But we are going to save them and share them with some friends and family also.
Hey, I would give this a try. If you like Twix, give it a try and see what you think. But I think it tastes pretty good.
There you go. Hey, and drop us a note in the comments if you try it. Let us know. And always, when we make a candy bar, we have folks that say, hey, this is how I've done this, and it helps out. So feel free if you've got some tips for us. We're just venturing into the kitchen and having some fun.
And we're really working hard on this covering thing, so.
Yeah, let us.
Hey, thanks for joining us in the kitchen today. Hit that like button. Share this video out. It really does help us. Let us know what candy bar you would like to see us make next. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and join us on our next adventure.
There you go. Hey, take care of yourselves, take care of others, and let us take care of you. If you have a prayer request, drop it in the comments. Say, hey, pray for me, and we will do that. And thank you for joining us today. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.